Hey friends, it's Wendy, and welcome back to another episode of the Finding Wendy podcast, or its new name, Wellness and Willpower. Today, we're digging into one of the most talked about topics in health and wellness right now, Ozempic, and what's happening right here in Ontario around coverage, pricing, and the science that started it all. Plus, I'll give you a little personal update on my own Ozempic journey. So grab your black coffee, a warm blanket, or lace up your walking shoes if you're listening on the go, and let's get into it. So let me start by sharing something from my corner of the world. So I've been on Ozempic for 4 weeks now. I've lost about a total of 7 pounds. Now, I've really tried not to weigh myself consistently, but let's be real, I'm impatient. We want to see progress. I want to see progress. I want to see numbers, but I keep reminding myself this is a long game. So I really should only weigh myself maybe once a month, maybe once every 2 months, but you know, impatience is a terrible thing. So what are the best part? What's the best part? Well, I've had 0 side effects, no nausea, no dizziness, nothing. I still get some food noise, especially in the evening, but it's quieter. I'm finally starting to break that late night snacking habit that's haunted me since childhood. So what's really noticeable is portion size. When I sit down for a meal, I naturally stop at about half of what I used to eat. And that full feeling actually works. So without any effort or willpower, it kind of reminds me of my first honeymoon year after my bariatric surgery back in March of 2018, which is like 7 years ago. When I ate meals back then, I really felt full very fast, and I could never eat more than like half of my plate. So right now, I'm on 0.25 milligram weekly dose of Ozempic, and I'll be seeing my nutritionist this week. So I'll share her insights with you in my next episode, so stay tuned. Now, I wanted to share something with you. Something that ties into why I started this podcast in the first place. I came across this quote by Steve Jobs, the guy from Apple, and it stopped me in my tracks. He once said, quote, "When I see something not being done right, my first reaction isn't to go fix it. It's to say, we're building a team here. So what do I need to do to help that person learn? Versus, how do I fix the problem? That's painful sometimes." End quote. That's exactly what this podcast is about. Yes, I do this show to help motivate myself, but I also do it to help you, to remind you that you can take ownership of your health. You can learn how to support your own wellness. This isn't about being perfect or fast. It's about being present and patient with yourself. Steve Jobs believed in coaching over fixing, that developing people, ourselves included, is worth the slower pace. He emphasized resisting the urge to fix mistakes instantly and seeing growth as a long-term investment and learning from the process rather than bypassing it. And that applies to us, too. I'm excited to introduce a brand new segment to the podcast, a weekly roundup of news and updates from the GLP-1 world, including everything Ozempic. So let's dive into what's making headlines this week across Ontario and beyond. Ontario Drug Benefit, ODB, reaffirms Ozempic coverage for type 2 diabetes. As of January 31st, 2024, Ozempic remains listed as a limited use LU benefit under the ODB. Coverage requires patients to have type 2 diabetes, unresponsive to metformin, or intolerant of it. No funding is provided for off-label use, such as weight loss. Prescriptions must include the correct LU code, and pharmacists are required to confirm these criteria with the prescriber. A temporary LU code was available through April 2024 for transitions. The source of this information came from the Ontario Ministry of Health. Now, let's look at cost comparisons that show Ozempic's affordable in Canada versus the US. Canadian prices for Ozempic are about $147 per month, which are dramatically lower than those in the US at $936 US per month. In comparison to other countries, Japan, $169 US, UK, $93 US, and France, $83 US. Canada remains reasonably priced. The lower cost, however, reflects Canada's government negotiating prices. However, U.S. prices remain extremely high due to the deregulated pricing systems. The source from this information came from CTV News, Reuters.com, and Reuters Insight. Now let's move on to our next section, the one story that really hit me most. Under the Hood of Health, Daniel Drucker and Canada's Quiet Miracle. When I think of someone whose work has literally altered our biology, Dr. Daniel Drucker comes to mind. His discovery of GLP-1 right here in Toronto at the University of Toronto and Mount Sinai Hospital kicked off a quiet but powerful medical revolution. Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, and now he's been honored with the 2025 Breakthrough Prize in Life Sciences. What strikes me isn't just the science, but the Canadian modesty behind it. No flashy labs, no big PR machine, just a dedicated team in downtown Toronto patiently chasing the kind of discovery that ends up changing millions of lives. Think about it. A tiny hormone born from research, a streetcar ride away, now shaping how we treat obesity, diabetes, and even food addiction. A small molecule, small enough to slip between our cells, but powerful enough to shift our weight, our cravings, and hopefully and honestly, our hope. That's what medicine looks like at its most profound. Not just breakthrough science, but breakthrough humanity. So that's it for today's episode. I'll be back soon with updates from my next appointment with my medical team, more Ozempic insights, and some reflections on emotional hunger versus physical hunger, because oh boy, that's a whole topic in itself. So if you found this helpful, please share it with a friend who might be on their own health journey. And if this resonates with you, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. So I'm Wendy, and this is the Finding Wendy, or also known as the Wellness and Willpower podcast. See you next time. Bye-bye for now.